So welcome back to another weekly episode on the WideFox build here at Basin Motorsports. What you see behind is a 5-week schedule for me of getting the car running and wrapped. Alright, so if we look at the board itself, we're going to break it up into 3 pieces. You've got the fuel, fire, and the other, which is going to be obviously getting the fuel system done, firing with the ECM, and then the other stuff that's needed to get the engine running, like the HVAC box, cooling lines, electric cooling fan, etc., brake system, and things like fun like seats and safety belts to be able to drive the car. The section in red is going to be in the new tool series. Now what I wrote down here are 40 ideas for a new tool series that I'm going to start working on in no random order, or maybe it is a random order. Anyway, I've got 40 ideas, and it'll be a weekly thing, and that'll probably take me into 2019. The far side over here is the wrap. Okay, so the wrap itself, what I've broken it up into is all the major pieces. So you got fenders, rear flares, quarters, roof, trunk, blah, 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 all the way down. And it's broken up into 8 major components or sections of the car. So that'll be 8 videos. One question I have for you guys is, do you want to see me actually do all the prep work? So I have to remove all the trim, the front window, side windows, rear quarter, that, sunroof glass, and then take the fenders off in that. Start wrapping stuff up with masking tape and do all that. Do you want that as a separate video, or would you rather see me do it kind of as I get everything sanded and prepped? I'll show you that piece. So I can either make this an 8-piece or a 9-piece series, maybe even a 10, I'm not sure. But I'll let you guys decide in the next 2 weeks how you want this broken down. If you want just major components of what I had to do for each, or if you want to see like the total prep work of sanding, trim removal, anything else. You guys tell me. I'll do it your way, and then I'll wrap the car. Alright, so on the vinyl wrap for WideFox, the color I initially chose is called a matte metallic anthracite, and that's this color here. When I looked at it in the catalog, I thought it was darker than it actually is in the sunlight, so I'm going to scrap the color for WideFox at this point. When I got it home, I opened up the box, took it out of the wrapper, set it outside. I was like, ooh, this is not the shade I thought it was. I thought it was a much deeper gray than it is. And I talked about wrapping the 86, and if I show you this, look how close this anthracite is to what the 86 really was initially from the factory. So what I've decided to do is that I'm going to wrap the anthracite, wrap this into the 86. So that's the color it's going to stay. I wanted it to stay close to it anyway, and by happenstance, the color of anthracite that I chose for WideFox, not going to work, but it's going to match the 86 very well. So I'm going to put this back in the wrapper, back in the box. This will be the color I've already got, and then we'll move on to the WideFox. So now with the anthracite taken back off the table for the WideFox, because it's going to go on the Gray Lady, that leaves the WideFox back to an open palette for color. Knowing the graphic that's going to go on the hood, and I'm thinking I'm going to match the cowl in kind of greenish, now I'm kind of stuck. The color choices are unlimited almost. So the things I don't want WideFox to be is white. I don't want black. Not going to go with any shade of gray now because I don't want 2 gray cars. So it kind of leaves me thinking about a green, a red, or a blue. Definitely don't want yellow. No pink. Orange. There's a couple cool oranges out there. There's like a burnt sunset orange I saw. So I'm doing some color shopping today. So what do you guys like? What do you guys suggest? What would you like? What do you think that you'd walk by at a car show and this thing would be just over the top with color? No bass boat paint. No sparkles. No diamond. I know there's a diamond out there. I don't want that. Too sparkly for me. Thinking more of a metallic, gloss metallic, or a matte metallic, maybe even a satin. But think about that. Orange, green, blue, or red. Any of those shades. If you guys have a suggestion out there There's some sites I've been looking at, which is Metro Restyling or Metro Styling, I can't remember, and Fellers.com. Those are the two places I've looked. I'm going to order about 10 different samples, and we'll go through those together of what the options are that I picked, and then you guys won't find out until I wrap it of what color it's going to actually be. Okay, so the first thing off the work list is going to be the harness extension. If you remember on the Fox, on the later model Foxes, the Aero cars, typically the fuel injection comes down the driver's side. There's a breaker down here basically on the behind the driver's taillight. Then goes around and then goes under a grommet here. On the earlier Foxes, it actually stops at the front of the trunk, goes across, and goes down in. They use the same grommet, so you can being that this is a 92, it doesn't route the same way. It won't go through the body the same way. So I ended up coming up short about 3 inches. So I added a 6-inch lead, so all these wires are extended. And just remember, when you're extending wires, always make sure you're using the same gauge wire or go up one size. Think of current like flowing through, water flowing through a hose. You put in a smaller piece of hose, what you end up doing is putting a restriction in there, and in electricity, that restriction tends to either blow fuses, melt wires, in worst case, burn your car to the ground. So don't do that. Go equivalent or above, and just need to get this wrapped up, and this will be off the list. Okay, so with the fuel pump wired and the cutoff switch mounted, I can mark 2 things off my list. So, extend the harness, done. Cutoff switch, done. This is on order. For the clips, those are in, on order. And then on the wrap itself, I ordered 10 samples of various colors. So I threw it out to Facebook, Instagram, and that. I never would have thought so many people had different color options. And you guys were actually suggesting colors I didn't even give you. Blue, orange, green, red. People are throwing out white, purples. I'll have to show you next time, probably in a week or so, what I've got coming for the wraps. I got some 6-inch by 6-inch sections of 10 different colors that we'll see how this looks. Alright, so one more thing to check off the list. Park brake cables. So you know when you switch to a 5-lug, you've got to change your cables out from, I guess, the stuff that goes to the drum brakes to the Ford, I think they're Motorsport or Ford Racing ones. Get those through LMR, that's where I got them, pretty cheap. I think they're, I don't know, 90, 100 bucks, something like that for those. Take all your adjustment out of your parking brake lever inside, take the nut off, take it all the way off, and then just leave some threads just sticking out from the adjustment nut versus the capture nut, I guess you'd say, that keeps it tight. Adjust that almost all the way out, push it all the way in, and then connect it all up, tighten it up, adjust it, make sure it works. Check it off the list. Alright guys, so that leaves me 6 things to go prior to starting the engine. 1 is a fuel line connector that I need from Rock Auto, ordered today. 3 of them are cooling related, which is the HVAC box, the cooling lines, which is going to be really quick, and then obviously to put coolant in so the engine will run and not overheat. And then I think I need a switched ECM wire with the fuel pump wire. That should hopefully work. Keep your fingers crossed. And then probably a belt. Need a belt. Make sure it doesn't overheat. But it'll run without coolant in it, so I'm going to probably fill it up anyway just to have it in. But that's it. 6 things. That's all I need. Count them down. Come back next week. See if we get this thing done. So that's it from Basin Motorsports from this week. Enjoy your weekend. See you next time.